Did you write down habits to check what kind of habits, how things are happening in a habitual way, to look into what you want to do, what you're not able to do, and how things are always happening in that habitual way, in that pattern? I hear you are saying, yes, we have write down in the brain itself. We have all the list we know already. We have been exploring what I'm searching in life. So what am I searching? So we started to examine, evaluate the nature of this search. What any human being looking for, or any beings, we were discussing. Everybody looking for pleasant experience, happiness. Not only that, don't want to gain, don't want to face the unpleasant experience, don't want pain, want to live, don't want to die. All comes the part of that. Right. So when we were exploring further, we also identified that generally we follow the flow. A lot of peer pressure, whatever we have been taught, we just go with that. So also we come to know, fundamentally we have this ignorance. We are all born ignorant. And that ignorance, not just coming with our birth. So we tend to follow the family from the family members, or we tend to follow what society shows us. So we are in the process without knowing really what is the outcome of our actions. We already got into this routine, we got into this habit, we got into this certain pattern. We use this body, we use this mind to live in this world every moment. But still we don't know exactly. There are a lot of things we follow because of our family custom. We follow because of our culture. We follow because of our race, country, gender, places. But still the research is going on. The exploration is going on. Still there is no finalized solution. Okay, this whole body is like this. The whole mind is like this. And this is what happens exactly. But already we have to still live the life. So whatever we believe, or whatever, we already got into this pattern, this habitual way of living. So we just tend to follow. But at least we can see very easily that we want to have pleasant experience. We don't want to face the pain. We don't want to get pain. So a lot of people showing a lot of ways. We already started to like something, started to follow particular technique. Then by the time we look back, half of the life gone already. The body is not listening. The mind is not listening. Everything is going in autopilot mode. Looks like I am leading the life. I am living my life, but everything functioning on its own. Then that's the time then we look for all this healthy life, right food to eat. So we look for yoga classes and look for all these things, but we can see that a lot of people, they say yes, they want to practice, but they are not able to do that. They are not able to commit. They have the time, still they are not able to do. The reason is already the mind is set in autopilot mode. We are all thinking, we are all even claiming that I am leading my life. But when we say whatever the decisions, actions we are doing now, that is the effect of the whole past of our life. So also we found out that to examine this, to evaluate this, to really find out the root cause of the way the mind functions, the body functions, we need to give time. So in order to give time, we need to adjust our lifestyle. Then when we are giving time, even sitting for meditation, contemplating the way the thought process are going on, the mind is going on its own. We close the eyes, we go through all the thoughts. That's the time we make nice planning, what to do today. That's the time all the past days activities will go through. That's the time so many different ideas, planning, this and that, everything will come. Though it will help to some extent, but still that may overpower the whole purpose or the process of this contemplation or meditation. So in order to understand that, we need to scrutinize, we need to evaluate, we need to really go deeper into the aspects of the mind. Otherwise, we just see all the thoughts, just thoughts. Thoughts are coming and going. But we don't give enough thought over those thought process. Why it is happening? Where is the root? Where is the triggering point? Where is the source point that it's keep going in this pattern, in this method? So it is not something coming. It is not something randomly happening. We can see that there is a method, there is a connection, there is a linking points. That's how we can see that our mind is looking for happy moments, pleasant experience. That's how we can identify. Basically, we don't know. We are born ignorant, and also we all this while we are ignorant of many things, many things. What we know, we can't even measure it. What we don't know, infinite things we totally don't know. Even the masters, whoever realized the reality, all of them struggling to explore or to explain, not explore, to explain what is this phenomena? What is the nature of this? So everybody use their own language. It's not about different language, English, Chinese or German. It's not about that. Even when they express within the same language, the method is going as per that individual person's. So it seemingly contradicts. We don't know. So different masters, different language, different method, different time period. So even this exploration seems to be complicated or challenging as everything evolves, constantly evolves. So when we are exploring on this period of time, our mindset is different. Something happened like 50, 100 years back, the people's mindset is different. So along the way, the evolution happening already. So whatever the master said 10 years back or 50 years back or 100 years back, whatever these books are saying, we need to understand as per this time period. So these factors, time, place, and reason, we need to apply to really get that exact message. So it is necessary, or that is the only way, all other ways, everything connecting to this, to know the mind, how this mind functions, or this how mind sees. Why it is? If we close the mind, there is no world. World is there, but the mind is projecting this whole world. So that's why in deep sleep, we don't see anything. We don't experience anything. We don't see the world. Everything disappears. Not only the world, our own body, mind, sense complex disappearing. It is completely going into hibernation, hiding. So mind goes, everything goes. Mind awakens, everything comes alive. So now, if we examine ourselves, how much we know about our mind? How much we know about ourselves? How much we know about our family members, friends, known people? We examine more and more about ourselves, we see that a lot of things we don't know actually. Sometimes we say that, right? I don't know why I did like that, but somehow I did. I don't know why I went there, but somehow I went. I don't know why I said like that, but somehow I said. Or we say that, that's not like, what I mean. So if we sit and look at our mind, and it seems like we don't know. It is like that ignorance going really deeper within ourselves. Even when we don't know about ourselves, we are expecting others to understand us. That's how, we are getting complicated with all the relationships. Even the people spending time together for many, many years very easily misunderstand things. Of course, it comes with the expectation, then there is certain pattern set, then certain images set. So always it's leading into all these issues. So it is very much relevant, it is very much important, and it is not really difficult. Why I'm saying it is not difficult? Those who are able to give time, then they're able to see it very clearly. It was kind of difficult, but the moment we start to give the time, The moment we are in absolute silence, outside maybe it's very busy world, but you yourself in silence, then we are able to see when everything happening. And slowly we start to recognize. At the first maybe it is difficult to recognize, but after some time, it varies according to individual people, but after some time we are able to recognize slowly. So we can see this mind is combination of few faculties. M for memory, I for intelligence, N for name and form identification, and D is the dual nature, duality. The mind functions only in the dual nature. So these four faculties, these four things put together as one unit functioning as mind. Memory, intelligence, identification, name and form identification, and in this dual nature. And that's what all this combination of these things put together, it leads to different thoughts. When we think something, memory need. When we look into that, when we are recognizing that, intelligence is working. And when we are identifying anything, we need to have name and form. Even emptiness, we have to identify a space. Nothing is there, but still we need to give a name. Language may be anything, but that name and form. Otherwise, there is no way the mind will recognize that. Even any different kind of sensations, feelings, still the mind will give some name for that. Otherwise, you will not able to recall or relate with other things when it is happening again and again, or different way when modifications are happening. Even something we don't really see it, hungry or this and that, we see that the effect of that, we sensitive enough to identify that, then we have to give a name. That's how all our emotions also. See that it leads to what we are searching, right? We are doing activities. As we are doing, even for us to get up from the bed. So the mind need to send the message. The mind need to give the message. Then we recognize. Then from there we are getting into activity. Every activity. Also we can see that how it is connecting with all these emotions. But how it is happening. From where it is triggering. Is it the same all the time? Or there is changes? How it is changing? And why it is happening? So if we look into one by one, overall we are able to get some idea how the mind works, how the mind functions. To some extent, not completely. Even when we observe of this mind which is looking for this pleasant experience. So where it comes from? We are able to recognize we don't know. Ignorance, right? We are already see that we are ignorant. So when we recognize that, then it leads to the next action, I want to know. So first we are recognizing I don't know. Then it leads to the action, I want to know. Then only we have to choose like what I should know. When we identify that, then comes all these various methods. How I should know. You can see that one, it leads into different things. Then when we see that how I should know, then we are evaluating using the memory, using the intelligence, then we are getting into the action. And we can see that the way it is functioning, it is coming from certain base. What are those base? What are that foundation? Basic one is already we have seen one of that foundation thing that I want to have. The mind wants something. We put it this way. The mind wants to gain something, then it gets into action. If it is seeing it is not really gaining anything, it will not get into action. You have to give a little bit attention to that, because the people misunderstanding, or like, in the illusion world, I'm living for other person, I'm doing service for others, I'm working for the humanity, I'm bringing transformation to all the people, I'm doing selfless service. It's all nonsense. Every mind getting into the action because it wants to gain something, otherwise it will not get into the action. It wants to gain it for its own sake. A lot of benefit may be there along the way to others, but eventually it wants to gain something. So what is the first one? If you look at that, it is the mind wants to have that pleasant experience. The mind wants to have that happiness. Whatever the actions may be, but it sees that it is gaining through that, so it will get into the action. Or it wants to avoid the pain, it will get into the action. Or it wants to survive, it will get into the action. Otherwise, it doesn't really see the necessity to do anything, to even to think. That's why, like, when the people feel stress or anything, so it is just taking here and there, it will make them to get into inactive position. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. I don't want to get this. All these things. If we recognize that, then we can see the connection from one action, one thought process, one action, one thought process. We can see the link. So we see that already it wants the happiness, so it is getting into the action. Then when it is searching like where it can get, that's where it is not simply able to go into the action. There are other factors driving. What are the other factors? When it wants to have that pleasant experience, happiness, I said it doesn't want to face the pain also. It doesn't want to get the unpleasant experience also, right? Why it is? The root is there to the fear. What is the fear? It may be painful. Fear. like ignorance, as we don't know, the mind wants to gain this pleasant experience. Then, when it, in the process of that, it identifies certain things are fearful. If we look at our thoughts, there is a lot of connection to this concept of fear. Right now, we are all facing that, right? So we don't want to go there. Why? Virus is waiting for us. We don't want to do that. Why? It may be bringing that unpleasant experience. And like that, if we look into that, that fear factor is really ruling the mind in many ways. And that's why it is ruling to all these habits and the pattern it sets. Like based on every individual's fear factors, they set their particular habit, particular way of living, particular way of thinking. When we are in asana class, if you don't want, if you don't like, if you are already fearful that you will fall down, so going into headstand, fearful. Especially every time, at that stage where you are struggling to balance, where you don't want to balance in the middle, where you cannot balance in the middle. So if that session comes, then when it will over, when it will be over, fearful, fear of falling down. Every activity you can see that we have already, okay, this I don't want because fearful of that. If we look at that, our life from childhood, we are fearful of many things. When we, at the beginning, maybe we don't have that much of fear, but when we do something, when we experience some sort of pain or some sort of unpleasant experience, then we develop this fear and we don't want to do again because the memory already strongly registered, that experience strongly registered. So we are developing the fear. Many factors, many things we can see that we develop that way. How far it is truth? That is really need to be really examined, really need to be evaluated. Why? Because a lot of things, a lot of fear is just illusion. Right? Like the fear of ghost. Are you alone now? Where you are listening? You want to increase the volume now? Right? The people have that fear of ghost, right? Unknown. They never seen the ghost. They have never experienced or anything particularly harmful. But the fear is there strongly. Why? Unknown thing. Not just unknown thing. We are adding up things for that kind of particular concept. We are adding up. When the window's moving faster, when you get a strong air, when the wind comes like, different ways, and you see the darkness, sound from the darkness. So we have all this screenplay done, right? So it's all like adding up already on that. So anything related with the mind goes there, the memory. The people like close people, when they die, then afterwards we can hear a lot of stories on that, right? They come in the night, or they moved things, they moved books, and I don't understand why it works like that. Because if the person is already close, they want to talk to you, so they want to like still connect with you, they can very easily, if they are able to already move the things, move the book and move the windows and move the all the vessels, this and that, when they can do that, they can directly approach you to talk to you. What even like nowadays, like already phone is there, they can directly send the message on the phone, they can directly type the message on the phone. If they are able to move the things there, they can use the phone. But we have a lot of connection with that, then we add up, so the fear sets up. Okay, these things also, maybe you don't have that fear much, but we have other fear of emotional pain, fear of our own image on others' mind, fear of tomorrow, fear of death, fear of diseases, fear of old age, fear of losing the youth, fear of putting on weight, fear of losing the shape, fear of obesity, fear of dogs, fear of animals, fear of bakers, fear of politicians, fear of this food, fear of that food. We have a long list. Certain things is really troubling much. Certain things troubling in the long term. Certain things is so strong impact when it happens. Then if we look at our thoughts, it is connected with the fear in many ways. We parked the car, got into the mall, then we think, did I lock or not? If there is no auto lock, nowadays like different facilities, but nothing there, you park somewhere, did I lock or not? You go out of home, did I lock or not? Then we can see that connected with that. What others will say, what others will think. This is a strong thing goes. Maybe related with office work, related with the family activities, related with social activities. So that fear connecting with all these various factors, then it will keep engaging. But if we really examine that, it doesn't have any base for many things. If we remember back of our school days, fear of exams, right? Maybe some people like so confident on a particular subject, then there is a particular subject, they have fear of that subject. And after some time, once you finish, if you look at that, it seems like that kind of fear has no value, right? If you have already studied well and you are going to face it, if you are not studied, you are going to face it. So you are going to get like what based on your capacity. What is that fear is actually really doing? In fact, when we have the fear, oh, I have to finish that within these 2 hours. Whatever we know already gone. It triggers the panic button and it really makes our mind empty. So we are not able to do that. And among these things, even the people say, I have no fear of death, but I don't want to get sick, right? Anything I do, I have to have that control. And there are people, they have that fear of death. Knowing very well, you can see that many people, because of that, they do many things, this, that, and everything like to overcome that. Knowing very well you can't avoid. Among these things, one of the important thing is the fear of tomorrow. We save things because of tomorrow. We want to have a secured life for tomorrow. We want to protect wealth-wise, health-wise, friends, family members, all these things like because we have something, it has to be fulfilled tomorrow, so we need. And we can see that many times we even like act against the values because of that fear of tomorrow. A lot of times we may don't deserve it, but still we want to hold it. We don't want to let go. Why? Because of fear of tomorrow. A lot of people lose the value or go against the value. I have to live, so I am protecting myself. Fear of tomorrow. So what happens when I am pursuing something, when I am searching this, where is this happiness, where I can gain this pleasant experience? So naturally, along with that, we are also building this, I don't want to gain the pain. I don't want to face the unpleasant experience. So the moment I say like I don't want, fear is already instilled. Is it only we are gaining this kind of mind only from this life? But it looks like it is not just coming from this life. It is already instilled. We are. You can see all the animals. Immediately they look for life. In the moment they have entered into the world, they will look for protection. They will go and get the support. They will look for mother. And also there are even like many animals, they say like immediately they have to go against the predators. So even they have to, nobody teaching them. But they, the moment it comes down to the earth, they need to really run away from that place to take care of their life. And we can see that all our sense organs can contribute to this fear, like by hearing certain sound, by seeing certain things, certain visuals, certain images. It can create fear because we have already imagined, right? Or already we have created these concepts. Even young babies, infants, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months old. When the sound goes beyond certain level, or sudden sounds, when there is silence, when the silence is shattered by a sudden sound, and you can see that, like, immediately there is a fear. Why that sound level is little bit of different sound creates this, where that fear comes from. You can see that it is all connected with this whole evolution, life after life. Even like all these animals, insects, birds, everything. Even they say like plants and trees also have certain kind of fear. But if we don't see that, we continue with the same concept of fear, whatever we are carrying forward. Fear of tomorrow. The other time we saw nothing is permanent, right? But still we want to protect for tomorrow. What we do, because of that we work many ways. We do things many ways. We don't want to face the pain. So we have to work to go against the pain. So what happens? Keep ourselves active mentally, physically. And this fear factor we can keep on adding as we grow. So that's all going and staying in the memory. Then what happens? Our whole life is full of fear because we are accumulating from childhood. But the moment we sit and see that, we can see that a lot of things we can undo. We can really like delete fear of death, fear of tomorrow, fear of what others will think about me, fear of maintaining the image. All these things, it's very easy to overcome if you are able to give enough time, if you are able to really evaluate that, why it is happening, where it is coming from. Then what happens the next time when that fear comes, you have that awareness and you are able to see that naturally it subsides. So because the fear disappears, then the thought process, the triggering thought process, no more. So when you are sitting for meditation, when you are doing something, the attention is there, the focus is there. Otherwise, that fear can lead into varieties of emotions. A lot of people getting stressed just because of fear. They want to maintain their position in the office. So what they have to do? They have to work for that. Work against their health. Work against their interest. In order to maintain their condition, so the fear is there already. Otherwise they will lose that. If they lose that, they may lose many things. So the fear is there. So it is making them to get into that kind of life. Over a period of time, spoil the health. Fear of losing relationships. You want to have, you want to maintain, you want to keep that forever. You don't want to lose that, which is not possible, right? But we don't see that. But we don't want to lose that. We want to maintain that, protect that. So don't want to lose, working for that, and we can see that that leads the daily miserable life. Fear of children's future. Young age, they want to have the child healthy way, playing this and that. Then afterwards need to study better ways, need to gain that intelligence, and need to get this course, this university, need to get the job, need to be that, going into the right way. Fear after fear after fear after fear. If we look into that, how far we have the control? We can do whatever we can do. More than that, what is the control we have? There are many factors there for their life, but we are fear for their life, right? So everything like what we are doing, we can see that it is not just the ignorance. Along with that, set of other things are coming. In that, the strong one is fear. We can think about desire, attachment, this and that further. But this, along with this ignorance, because unknown, right? Why we are ignorant? We don't know. Unknown things are there, many unknown things. When many unknown things are there, that brings fear. Why we are all fear for God? Because we don't know. That's how every religions are surviving, how they are surviving. Listen, follow the Lord, follow the God. If you don't do that, you will go to hell. If you do good things, you will go to heaven. Nobody known where is the path to heaven or how was the experience in hell. But we don't know about God, so very easy and unknown, we are fearful. Same like ghost, we don't know. Right? So we are fearful of that. So anything unknown brings the fear, and we strongly fall for it. And we can look into that many things what we do, we fall for it, and that leads to certain kind of mindset. Then it sets certain pattern. You have fear of darkness, then the way you do things, the way you think, it creates certain habit, certain pattern, the way the mind thinks. You don't want this place. You don't want to have this kind of people. You don't want to go there. You don't want to do things. For tomorrow, our thought process, not just our thought, into certain habitual way of living. In a certain, we are leading the life, the mind in autumn. We are thinking, we are imagining, we are executing, evaluating. Everything is not something happening now. It is a continuation of the past. So it is functioning in the autopilot mode. So what we have to do? We have to put speed breaker. We have to create some stopover places. Need to sit there, have a cup of coffee and observe. Give time to observe this mind. To observe these fear factors of the life. And how the thought process connecting with that, triggering with that. We can go into many examples. Everything, whatever I said, everything is really worth to explore in detail. You can even look back. What are the fears you had in your childhood? Fear for that particular teacher, fear for exam, fear for that bully boy, fear for darkness. We even like don't want to go to toilet alone. What happened afterwards? But there are people still fear for cockroaches. I don't know why. You know, fear for lizard. There is no difference, culturally or country-wise, race-wise, there is no difference in that. It happens the people for even living in America or Singapore or Malaysia or India, China, all have this fear for cockroaches. So if you look at that, all these different fear, you can see that there are a lot of fear disappear after some time. And we can see that how it disappeared, it is just like you are able to see, you are recognizing that it doesn't have any value. Like at a young age, you don't want to go to toilet alone, right? After some time, when you grow up, what happens? I'm just giving the example. Different people have different set of things. If if you look at that, what are the fears you had before, and what are the fears? Those fears still you have, and how many fears are disappeared, and how it disappeared. And also we can look around the people when they fear on something. What is the connection with that? How as we grow, there are a lot of fears disappearing. And which are the fears are there all the time? Like fear of tomorrow, fear of security, fear of no, don't want to face the pain, fear of death. Then it gives certain understanding of how our thought process is getting into a pattern, habit, and we are leading the life. It gives a better insight of our mind. So you can spend some time on that, contemplate on that, look into that whenever you face the fear. As I said again, to do that, we need that time. Put some speed breaker. I read a story. There was a person, since childhood, he has this fear. Whenever he goes to bed, he has this kind of phobia. Somebody is there under the cot. And it is not like, something disappearing over a period of time. So he was really like obsessed with this thought, especially like, so he's going to bed night time, right? Going to bed, sleeping. So he always have this, somebody is there under the cot. It started from young days. Like, how we saw that like person like don't want to go to toilet. And as he was growing, it was really growing, it was really disturbing his sleep. Then he decided check with professionals, to go to a psychiatrist. So he went to the psychiatrist, and he was listening to him, asking him to tell when it started, how long it, you feel that, what happened, how it developed. After hearing, then he was telling, okay, I think it is not a problem. We can easily solve this. So, but you need to really go for a few sessions. We need to have these consulting sessions. He said, okay, yes, yes, I'm really interested. I want to overcome this. It's really like, killing my daily life. So you should come at least 3 times every week. Okay, I will come. How long I have to come? He said, it may take like maybe 6 months. Some people have taken even like 1 year, 2 year. So it's all depends. So you have to come. Okay, I'm interested. So, okay, how much I have to pay? He said $80 per session. Then he thought over, $80 per session, 3 sessions per week. It will take more than 6 months, 1 year. What happens? Still, I have the fear. So he told to the psychiatrist, okay, I will think about it. Then I will come back. Then after few months, this psychiatrist saw him, that person, because he didn't go there. So he saw him, and somewhere on the street, asked him, what happened? Why you didn't come? You said you have that strong fear. It is like really like killing your life. I thought like you are going to do that. What happened? How are you? He said, 80 bucks per week per session, and 3 sessions per week is too much. And I overcome my fear just by $10. What? The psychiatrist like, really, how it is possible? How you did? He went for any charity or something like that? I was there in that coffee shop, and that waitress, just by $10 tip, removed my fear. How? Then he was curious, this psychiatrist, how it happened. I just cut the legs of my bed cot. So he gave the idea to cut the legs of the cot. Then afterwards, nothing is there underneath my bed. So my fear gone. In my life, in our life, many of our fear is like that. Just we have the fear for nothing. Maybe a simple thing will release that or remove that. Well, you have all the time to explore, examine, evaluate, to look into your fears and see that how it is ruling our life. Fear of tomorrow, fear of death, fear of pain, a lot of things. We can keep on going on these things. Okay. Let me see if there is any question today. Even we are fearful to ask question, right? Or maybe because you're understanding, so you don't need to ask question. how to delete the memory, unpleasant memory. No, memory will be there. Memory is there all the time. But we are defining that as a pleasant and unpleasant. Why we are defining that as unpleasant? Again, it is maybe because of the unpleasant experience, painful experience. The fear coming out of that unpleasant experience or the fearful, painful experience. So we don't want to get that again. So this memory turns into unpleasant. Even our allergies, all those things, like it's built like that. You had some food or something like that, and from there then it is connecting. Fear is there, then it is building up. So one way to look into that is look into all those unpleasant memory. Look at the root from where it comes. Sometimes when the people are talking something bad about you, or sometimes like, some kind of like ill treatment, we may have like emotionally carry that. That can bring that unpleasant memory. Lot of things, like sometimes like the mind wanted to things happening in a certain way, it may not happen, that may also bring that unpleasant memory. So if we look into that, what is the value, like for that memory, what is the base? And a lot of unpleasant experience, you can see that there is no base. We have a certain concept, based on that we build that base. When we are able to demolish these concepts, and we can see that that will disappear. Like the parents' expectation, when they expectation, what they expect, they expect certain things from the children, expecting certain things. So a lot of things. So based on that, you can see that it can build in relationships, unpleasant experience. There are physical unpleasant experience. All these things can build up. So when we look into that, when we really see that what is the base, a lot of things will disappear. Very easy to demolish. Memory maybe is there, but we don't define that as unpleasant or pleasant. We need to really move into that way. Physical pain is there, emotional pain is there. But when we are ready to accept it, what happens? It is there. Even the pain may happen, it will be momentary. It will not like really go and store in the memory. We can remember that, but we don't remember that as a unpleasant things. It happened in that way, painful that time, finished. Again, you don't want to really like carry on based on that worry now. There are people, the incident happened only once, but they cry for the whole life. Somebody scolded for some reason, right? Even in family members. Your mother said something, or your spouse said something, or your children said something. Something insulted, something said. Just remembering that word, these people will cry. Not once. The incident happened only once. But these people keep remembering that, and every time bring that memory back and they cry. They go into that sad mood. They go into that, painful experience. The memory, because of that one-time experience. So we define that. This is nice, this is not nice, this is pleasant, this is unpleasant. And we store that in that way, then it is bringing all this emotional pain. Then what happens? Then you don't want, you have the fear of that. That's why like a lot of relationships have this kind of issues. So look into that, how we define.
Thank you, sir.
All of us have a different set of DNA. The phrase, I don't want, is that really fear or being irresponsible or overburdened with responsibility? DNA it is just like based on, what do you call it, like, different models, different variations. But fundamentally, the structure has similarities. Like fear of tomorrow, don't want to face the pain, have a pleasant experience, want to have a pleasant experience, don't want to die, looking for this eternal happiness. Everything we do, we want to gain something out of it. So these are all like fundamental structure, in fact, for every being, but the models changing. So based on the DNA, it is changing. Some people like this color, some people don't like that color. Some people like this food, some people don't like that food. And they carry also certain things like, say, fear of height. It can also come with your DNA. It may be connection with some other life, some other things, but you may carry that. So you may develop that from young age. But fear is there, right? So fundamental is that, but things, objects may change according to individual person. But when we see the root is similar, we will find the similarity. When we say the phrase, I don't want, it depends on choice, possibility. That you have varieties of fruits. You have interest to have this papaya. So you choose papaya. Then, and you already have this valuation for that papaya, and you already finalize that. This is good enough based on your evaluation. Then you don't want apples. You don't want oranges. If some food is already creating some trouble for you, you definitely don't want. Other things you may be considering, they still have a choice. But say that if you take banana, you have some kind of like acidity or something. So you have some allergy or something. So you have the fear. If I take that fruit, it will trouble my stomach. So you choose based on that, I don't want that. But other fruits, you have inclination towards one particular fruit, papaya. So you are choosing between apples, oranges, papaya, you choose papaya. So you don't want apple, you don't want oranges. Suppose there is only one fruit, you don't have a fear of that, right? There is no allergic issue or anything. So you are hungry also, but still if you are saying like, I don't want, then we have to see that what is the reason. So then you can see these different scenarios. So one can be based on the fear. Other one is out of choice, you can say that I don't want. So it can be according to that particular situation, and we can see that the mind, how it is seeing it. So based on that, we choose things, we do things. and also need to see that many other factors. So not everything like related with the DNA, and not necessarily everything related with the fear also when you say that I don't want. So it can be choice also. Within that choice, yes, possible. That also can lead to certain, based on the fear also the choice may be there. Maybe. Okay. Any other question? No more question? No fear? Only joy. Also we can see that when we say courageous, right? We say like, this person is very brave. As I said, the concept of mind is in duality, right? The fear and that courageous mind it is like, each side of the same coin. Because we need to identify if we see the fear, because we have to look things as a fear, right? When we explore or experience as a fear, then we need to replace with that courage or replace with that bravery. If the fear itself not there, there is no question of like courage or bravery. So it is just like other side. Every duality is like that. Day and night, good and bad, right and wrong. Everything is inbuilt. Life and death. So suppose we don't have the fear of death, there is no question of life itself actually. So all these things working in that dualistic nature, and we can see that one connecting with the other or one depending on the other. Same like that, like the darkness. What is light? Shall we say like absence of darkness? We say like what is darkness? Absence of light, isn't it? You switch off the light. Is it darkness is coming from somewhere? No. Darkness is there all the time. When the light is there, darkness is disappearing. Absence of darkness. Same goes with the light. So you can see that how it is like one connecting with the other. And every dualistic nature is like that. If one is there, other will be there. Like darkness and light. Ignorance and knowledge. When knowledge takes place, the ignorance cannot come again. Isn't it? 1 plus 1, 2. We are getting this information. Knowledge takes place. Can we erase that now? The ignorance of this 1 plus 1, what is that? At the beginning we don't know. Then we are getting this education. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Knowledge takes place. When the knowledge takes place, there is no question of like, I have this ignorance. But over a period of time, the concept of knowledge itself disappears also, especially when we are knowing about ourselves, when the exploration of this self. When we are questioning about like what is the nature of this life, what is the nature of this I. So you can see that what is this dual nature. Okay. Well, so that is, with that we will go into other emotions related with that. Then we can look into all the thought process this way, how it has related with these pleasant experience looking mind, the mind which doesn't want to get the pain, also this concept of like ignorance, the fear. So when the thoughts are going on, happening, or when you are getting into that, when there is a fear, evaluate that. Where is that fear comes from? How far it is, it has a base, how far we have truth in that. Then we can see that a lot of things will disappear. That makes the mind like lighter. The heaviness will be shedding down. Okay. So let's continue this exploration. Meditate on that. Namaste. Thank you all.